Hello, welcome to On Me Edson. So we've had a night of boxing, a night to celebrate, let's say. Okay, let's kick off with Canelo Alvarez getting his win, his decision win over Charlo in the United States overnight. And yeah, another impressive display. Still undisputed super middleweight champion, of course. He had tried to step up against Bivol and was found out. And it's kind of unsurprising, really, that Charlo stepped up as undisputed in his own weight category, and he came up and he was found wanting as well. And it just goes to show the differences in weight class and what a huge difference it can make, not only in terms of punching power but punch resistance as well. But I don't believe Charlo embarrassed himself at all. Thought he put on a great display as well, but overall Canelo Alvarez was just, well, it was just so impressive, and quite rightly so, being undisputed champion at that weight class as well. Okay, so moving on now to the York Hall in the British fighting last night. We had some great fights. Simpson, great win as well. We've got Caroline DuBois, a really impressive fight against Rodriguez, and actually, a couple of knockdowns there and some great strikes there, great whacks that she took as well. But it was a great display. But I really want to talk about professional fighter, but also quite a well-established YouTuber, Viddal Riley, He's in the cruiserweight division. He's now 10-0. He came up against another English fighter, Corliss, for the English title, and basically he won it 10 rounds. It was a 10 3-minute rounds, and he won all 10-minute rounds. Very impressive display by Viddal Riley. A very cagey display from Corliss. I don't think he was overwhelmed in terms of, ever in any real threat, let's say. But he was just outpointed, out-hit, outpointed, outwork rated, and he didn't really come back with anything. There was a couple of glimmers here and there where he kind of threw a couple of body shots, a couple of right hooks, but that's about it. All the work was coming from Viddal Riley. All the movement was coming from Viddal Riley as well. But he's in the cruiserweight division. And here's the thing, at what point do we start talking about Viddal Riley in terms of contending for bigger titles? And I say British title would be next, European title would be thereafter, and then a world title shot. It's, for me, you can't even have that discussion right now because it's just too early. And I think within his own camp and within himself, he would look at that as well. I think, when you look at other YouTubers, let's say, who are not boxers, and then they match them up with boxers who are novices, just like Tommy Fury, for example. We start talking, in big terms. Oh, they're the best, or they would talk in the big terms. They're the best. They do this, they do that. When really they have nothing to show and nothing to prove in terms to validate those claims. Whereas Viddal Riley, quite reserved in many ways, got a great YouTube channel, but also he's a legitimate fighter, and he calls himself, "No, I am legit. I'm a legitimate fighter," because he's won an English title. He had a very impressive amateur record, but he's come up in the pro rank and he's earned his spoils. He's come in and he's put on another impressive display, and he's got the English title now. So great achievement. But now we've got to look at, well, what's the next step? Well, obviously it's going to be the British title. And even within the British ranks in the cruiserweight division, it's heavily compacted. You got some great fighters there as well. So what's the next step for Viddal Riley? Well, I think you need to consolidate, of course. And I think that would be the case as well. He needs to consolidate. He needs to, probably defend that English title. But let's face it, it's the British title, which is going to be next for grabs. And then we're talking European and world. If he wants to get on that trajectory, if he wants to get on that pathway, then there's a long way to go yet. And judging by his performance last night, I think it was clinical. I think it was a great boxing display. But I don't think it was all there. And, even by his dad was gave him an 8 out of 10 because, there was still things happening there. I thought he could have had Corliss out of there a little bit earlier. I thought he could have just put it on there a little bit more. He was a little bit ragged at times. I thought he was, you know, Quarters wasn't really coming back with anything, and I think this is the issue with that fight. Quarters wasn't really coming back with anything. So, did Viddal Riley get really tested? Well, you could argue that he was on the front foot, and it was hard for Quarters to test him back and throw anything back. But I think you come up against another fighter, and now within this packed cruiserweight division, you know, how successful is Viddal Riley going to be? Well, we'll soon find out, won't we, over the next couple of years. But certainly great achievement, great display from Viddal Riley. But, hey, long way to go, and I'm sure he knows that. But he can only get better, and that's the thing. You know, when we talk about other fighters who are young fighters, up-and-coming fighters, or even novice fighters, well, for me, Viddal Riley is doing this the right way, and he is doing this against other boxers in the art of boxing, and not going off on tangents and going for big money fights like Tommy Fury is, for example. You know, for me, that's the shame with Tommy Fury, is that he really should be focusing on boxing rather than go and do this. And I know the allure of big money is possibly too much to pass up, but if you want to be a legitimate fighter, if you want to be a legitimate boxer, then I think you need to go on the Viddal Riley pathway and fight boxers and go for English titles, British titles, European titles, and world titles. That's where the legitimacy comes from boxing. It's in your performances against other boxers. Anyway, a great display from Viddal Riley. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to Caroline Dubois. Congratulations to Canelo Alvarez, of course. And I'll catch you again on another video coming very soon from Mommy Edson. And let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Cheers now.